The sound of hedge clippers slicing through the morning air hit me like a punch to the gut. Snip, snip, snipe, a deliberate rhythm, followed by a woman's voice humming a tune as if she were starring in her victory parade. I spilled my coffee, still in my flannel pajamas, and bolted to the side of my property. There she was, Linda, the self-proclaimed queen of the neighborhood HOA, perched on a rickety step stool, carving a perfect square hole into my 7-foot privacy hedge. When I shouted, "What in God's name are you doing?" she didn't even blink. She tossed a handful of trimmed leaves over her shoulder and smirked. "Just improving the view, darling." "You're welcome." That was the moment I knew my quiet life in Willow Creek was about to become a battlefield. My name's Tom Harrison, a 52-year-old software developer who'd moved into this suburban slice of heaven 3 months earlier. The house was my sanctuary, just outside the HOA's jurisdiction by a blessed 5 feet, according to the county survey. I'd chosen it for the peace, the tidy lawns, and the thick, green hedge that shielded me from the world. That hedge was my fortress, and Linda had just declared war on it. As a remote worker, I valued privacy like some folks value their morning coffee. But Linda, the HOA's landscaping czar, saw my hedge as an obstacle to her grand vision of community efficiency. She claimed the hole was a shortcut to the clubhouse, saving walkers a full minute per trip. I told her to get off my land. She laughed, called me new blood, and said I'd learned to appreciate her efforts. That night, I patched the hole with nursery-bought branches and installed a motion sensor camera. My gut told me Linda wasn't done. At 3:12 a.m., the camera pinged. The footage showed her in a bathrobe, dragging a ladder to my hedge, snipping my repairs with surgical precision. She even waved at the camera, mouthing, "Better luck next time." I was livid. I called the police, but the officer shrugged it off. "It's trespassing, sure, but it's just a hedge. Unless she torches your yard, the DA won't touch it." Frustrated, I emailed the HOA with photos, videos, and a property line map. Their reply? A single line: "We're reviewing the matter." Translation: they weren't going to lift a finger. Linda's next move was bolder. She strolled into my yard in broad daylight, clipboard in hand, measuring my lawn like she owned it. When I demanded answers, she claimed the HOA president, a guy named Roger, had given her verbal approval to optimize the path through my property. I asked for written proof. She told me to watch my attitude and stormed off. The HOA sent me a letter accusing my hedge of visual obstruction and threatening fines for disrupting neighborhood harmony. It included photos taken from inside my yard. More trespassing. I fired back with a highlighted survey map and a note: direct further complaints to my attorney. Enough was enough. I didn't just want to fix the hedge, I wanted to end this nonsense for good. Sitting on my porch, staring at the jagged hole, I had an epiphany. A 10-foot iron fence, sleek, black, and unyielding. It would be ornamental enough to pass city codes, but strong enough to stop Linda in her tracks. I visited a local ironworks shop, where a burly craftsman named Joe grinned at my request. "You want a fence that screams stay out, but looks like art?" he asked. "Exactly," I said. "Linda-proof." He nodded like he'd heard it before. I designed a fence with pointed caps and a weatherproof finish, got city approval in days, and watched as the first steel posts arrived. The morning the fence went up, Linda lost it. She stormed out in her signature pink tracksuit, waving her clipboard like a battle flag. "This is a prison wall," she shrieked at the workers. They ignored her, hammering away. I handed her a folder with city permits and said, "This is legal. Your clippers weren't." Her face turned purple, but she was powerless. Neighbors slowed their cars to watch, some giving me thumbs up. One dropped off a bottle of Merlot, whispering, "We've all dreamed of this." Linda didn't quit. She called emergency HOA meetings, took photos of the construction, and taped a notice to my door, claiming the fence violated aesthetic guidelines. I laughed. My property wasn't under HOA control. I sent another letter with zoning documents and the city inspector's number. Then came her most absurd stunt. One afternoon, I heard a crash and a yelp. Linda had tried climbing the half-built fence to prove it was unsafe. She got stuck, one leg dangling, her slipper lodged in the spikes. Firefighters had to rescue her. A neighbor's video, titled "Linda's Fence Fiasco," went viral, racking up 15,000 views overnight. But something odd kept happening. Even after the fence was complete, with a locked gate and solar lights. People, Linda included, kept sneaking through. I changed the lock to a keypad and caught her on camera, punching in numbers like she owned the place. When it didn't open, she rattled the gate and texted furiously. An HOA email demanded the passcode for community access. I replied, "My property, my rules." Curious, I noticed the trespassing peaked at 7 p.m. on weeknights. A stroll past the clubhouse revealed the truth. Linda was running a paid yoga and wine class, using my yard as a discreet shortcut for her clients. A quick Instagram search confirmed Ida page called Willow Wellness advertised her exclusive sessions, complete with fairy lights and $15 drop-in fees. I tipped off the city's zoning office anonymously, citing fire code violations and unauthorized commercial use. Days later, inspectors raided Linda's class. They shut it down, citing illegal gatherings and alcohol violations. The HOA got fined, and Linda got a personal citation. She retaliated by spray painting "Tyrant" on my fence. My cameras caught it all. I filed a vandalism report, and the police issued her a fine and a warning. Desperate, Linda forged a petition to challenge my fence, faking signatures from dead neighbors. I sent the footage and petition to the city attorney. She was now under investigation for fraud. The HOA, now free of Linda's grip, issued a public apology and banned her from all community roles. I turned my fence into a masterpiece, adding flowering vines and a stone path. I threw a victory garden party, inviting neighbors who'd suffered under Linda's reign. They shared stories of her petty fines, wrong flowers, loud kids, unsightly mailboxes. The fence became a symbol of freedom. At the party, kids played, adults laughed, and Linda watched from her window, silent for once. The city pursued charges against Linda for forgery. She faced fines, a misdemeanor, and public humiliation. A local news clip dubbed her the HOA tyrant who fell. The neighborhood transformed. The HOA built a community garden, improved lighting, and held open meetings. My fence, once a battleground, became a landmark. Neighbors left thank you notes, and a magazine featured it as a bold boundary. Linda faded into obscurity, her influence shattered. In the end, it wasn't just about a fence. It was about standing up to bullies who hide behind clipboards and fake authority. Linda thought she could control everyone, but she underestimated one truth. Push a quiet man too far, and you'll get iron. My victory garden still stands, a reminder that peace comes from clear boundaries and unwavering resolve. What do you think? Have you faced a Linda in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on dealing with injustice or standing up to overreach. Let's hear your take.